Good afternoon, students. Welcome to class. Today we'll continue our lesson on division. We will look at two main methods that we can use to do division. We are going to look at half-half system, and then we look at repeated subtraction. Please, in the case of the half-half system, whenever you have a question, you look at your two numbers. If the two numbers are not even numbers, the first and the second, if they are not even numbers, please don't use the half-half system, okay? Because when you divide them by 2, you're going to have a remainder. So don't use the half-half system if the two numbers you are dealing with are not even numbers. In the case of the repeated subtraction, when you multiply 10 to the single digit or the number that is dividing the other number, and the number is going to be bigger than what is here, please don't use the repeated subtraction, okay? So today, the examples that we have allows us to use these methods. So whenever you are dealing, just change the method which is more easy for you, which is more convenient for you, unless you are asked strictly to use either half-half or to use repeated subtraction. So we have 72 divided by 4, and we have 208 also divided by 8. We are going to use the half-half system to solve this, and then we use the repeated subtraction to also solve this one. So beginning with the half-half, the whole idea is finding the half of 72 and finding the half of 4. That means we have to divide 72 by 2 and divide 4 also by 2, okay? So we go to 72 divided by 2, and then we go to 4 also divided by 2. Okay, so this will give us 2 here, and this will give us 36. Okay, so our new answer is going to be 36 divided by 2. So this is how it's going to look like. Now we have 36 divided by 2, so which is the half of 4, and 36 also half of 72. So now if you subtract, or if you're going to divide this 2, we're going to have our final answer. So 2 goes into 3 one time, and then we have remainder 1. So we bring the remainder 1 here, so it becomes 16. So 2 divided by 16 is going to give us 8. So our final answer for this problem is going to be 18. So this is what you should know. 4 divided by 2, we have 2 here. 72 is going to be divided by 2, and we have 36 here. Because we are using the half system, 2, when you get to this point, you still have to divide 2 with 36, and that is going to give you 18. So if we are to write this in a different aspect, it's going to be 36 divided by 2, and then 2 divided by 2. Okay? So this 2 will cancel this 2, which means we will have 1 here, and then this 2 will cancel this 36, and then we have 18 here. So our new equation is going to be 18 divided by 1, which is also equal to 18. Okay, so this is the other explanation to this equation. That means we are using the half-half system to find our answer. Okay, so this is to explain this section for you. So we have to clean this, and then we leave like this. Okay. The next one, we have 208 divided by 8. So what we have to do, we have to find half of this one and then half of this one. That means we're going to divide it by 2. So dividing 208 by 2 is going to give us 104 divided by 4, because we are using half of 8 and then we have 4, half of this one. So we still have to go the next step. So this will give us 52 divided by 2, because we are dividing this by half and this by half, okay? It's a half-half system. So now we also divide here by 2 and then here by 2. So this is going to give us 26, okay? So if you want to continue, it becomes like 26 divided by 1, because we are dividing here by 2 and dividing here by 2. So we have 26 by this. So which means our final answer becomes 26. That means we are using the half-half system, and then we have our 26 over here. So I believe with these steps it becomes more easy for you to understand as compared to the arrow direction one that we have in the textbook. Okay, so let's see how we can also do that of our repeated subtraction. So with a repeated subtraction, the rule is that you multiply this one by 10. So we're going to have 98 divided by 7. Okay, so we multiply here by 10 like this, and that is going to give us 70. So we'll bring our 70 here. So this is from this direction, okay? So we subtract this, we'll have 8 and then we have 2. So this is not finished. Now the other question is that how many 7s will give you 28? How many 7s will give you 28? So that will be 7 times 4. So 7 times 4 is equal 28. That means you have to, so between 10 and 4, you have to add 10 and 4. So you add this one. So we are adding 4 and 10, and that will be 10 plus 4, which is equal to 14. So that means when you divide 7, when you divide 98 by 7, you're going to have 14 as your answer, okay? So you look at the steps that we went through to get this particular answer. Like I told you, whenever you multiply the number here by 10 and it's going to be bigger than the number here, please, you cannot use the repeated subtraction method. Okay, so now let's see what we can also do here. So we multiply here by 10 and that will give us 60. So we'll have 60 here. Underline, we subtract, we have 4 and then we have 2. Okay, so now the next question is that how many 6 can you find in 24? Okay, how many 6 can you find in 24? Okay, so that will be 6 times 4, right? So 6 times 4 will give us 24. So now the link is that we have to do addition between 4 and 10. So we come 10 plus 4, which is equal to 14. Okay, so we have 14 to be, when you divide 6 by 84, you have 14. Just as you divide 7 by 98, you also have 14. So these are the steps that you have to take in finding answers for repeated and steps that you have to take for finding answers to half-half system. I will post your first activity or first task on this section, and then we'll continue on our second video. Hello students, welcome to our second video, which is also going to be our final or the last video for this section. So on the first video we used half-half system and that of repeated subtraction to solve some problems. So here we're going to do a second example, and then we do our final example with the repeated subtraction. I want to remind you that whenever you want to use a half-half method, please make sure that the two numbers that you are dealing with, they are all even numbers. It means that when you divide here by 2, you will not have a remainder, and when you divide the other side by 2, you also not have a remainder. When any of the numbers will give you a remainder when you divide by 2, please don't use the half-half system. You can go to subtraction and use the subtraction method, or you can use long division, or you can use that of the number line to do, okay? So let's see how our half-half system will work for 52 divided by 4. So we have 52 divided by 4. It is half-half system, so we have to divide here by 2. So that is going to give us 26. 2 divided by 52 is going to give us 26. We bring our division sign. 2 divided by 4 is going to give us 2. Now we have gone halfway because half of 4 is 2. Half of 52 is 26. So we have to go one down step until we have 1 here. So we divide here by 2 and this place by 2. So when we divide 26 by 2, it's going to get us 13. We put our division sign. We divide here by 2, and that is going to give us 1. So once you get here and you have 1 here, it means this is your final point. It means one person out of the four people is getting 13. That means 4 divided by 52 is equal 13. So your final answer becomes 13. That means 4, and this will give you 13. So this is a very simple way of dealing with a half-half that should be able to help all of you to go through the half-half system. Divide each section by 2. Here by 2, here by 2. If you get to the next point, here by 2, here by 2, until you get to where you will get 1. So when you get 1, you know that that is the end of it. And that answer is what you put there as your final answer for the expression. Okay? Now let's see how we can use our repeated subtraction to also deal with a problem like this. 72 divided by 4. So with a repeated subtraction, it deals actually with subtraction and a little bit multiplication. What is the multiplication here? The multiplication is that the first thing that you have to do is to multiply your 4 by 10. So you have to multiply 4 by 10. That is the first step that you have to do. So when we multiply 4 by 10, it is going to give us 40. But when we put the answer, we put the answer here. So we put that 40 here, then we underline. So this is where the subtraction comes in. Repeated subtraction. So now we have the subtraction sign here. So we're going to subtract 40 from 72. And that will give us 2 and 3. Okay, so we have 32 here. Now, what is the next step that we have to do? The next step that we have to do is that we have to divide this 32 by 4. We have to divide this by 4. And we know that 4 times 8 8. Okay? So 4 times 8 will give us 32. That means when you divide 32 by 4, you're going to get 8. So this is the same way of saying that 4 divided by 32 is 8. So now we have 4, 10, 4, 8. So how do you get your final answer? The final answer is your 8 and your 10. Okay? So it becomes 10 plus 8, which is equal to 18. So that means 4 divided by 72 will be 18 for you. So this is the steps that you have to go. The first one, multiply by 10. You put your answer here. You subtract from here. And then you look for what other number that you're going to do. So this times this will give you 32. Okay? And then you put your 32 here. And then you put your 8 here. So when you finish, you add this one. And then that will give you your final answer. Is that alright? Okay, so on this, we will end here. I'm going to post you your second activity, and then I post your homework as well for you. So you're going to have 2 activities on this section, and I'll see you next week to begin our review because we have exams in 2 weeks' time. Goodbye.